Around 2019. 2019, exactly when COVID hit, everywhere schools were taken to Zoom and virtual classes because of COVID and the whole pandemic thing. Everybody was locked inside their house. So me, being one of the kids who were locked inside their house basically, feeling like I was incarcerated, I would go on the school meetings, school digital meetings via Zoom. I join on my laptop, hit join. Typically, my camera had to be turned on so they could see everything. But the majority of the time, I was able to slip food, literally like in a corner where nobody could see. Even during when the teacher was talking, so there's this equation and that equation, so what's this? And I'm just there, being able to shove food in my mouth, even though typically it's not really allowed. I was able to do it very, very, very subtle, low key. This was just one of the times I had binge ate, but it was one of the most impactful times I ever binge ate because I couldn't absorb any knowledge. I couldn't learn at all because my brain was binge eat, food. I only thought about the food. I didn't think about anything else. So hence, I couldn't focus at all. So to overcome binge eating, I had to do a series of many things. But you first have to understand why you binge eat in the first place. You binge eat in the first place because you have a desire for food and food. This ancient desire ever since the caveman days for just food. Whether it be hunting for food or just getting food. Literally, as soon as you wake up, because you're so used to eating the sugary milk and the processed cereal, which is terrible for you, and just used to cramming it in your mouth. Because that's what you already do. And it's just become a part of your lifestyle because you've listened to the myth, oh, but breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It is not the most important meal of the day. This research has been proved to be absolute garbage, BS. In fact, here's the thing. Contradictory to breakfast is the most important meal of the day. The only reason this even originated was because of the fact that Kellogg was able to sell breakfast way more better by selling this myth and selling this lie to researchers and everybody else. Oh, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. This is probably why you binge eat. Breakfast, literally, if you cut it in half, break fast. Break feast, break fast, whatever. Literally, bro. So, another common reason why people binge eat is probably because, well, they see everybody else on social media advising them to become a body positivity influencer or some body positivity person. All of these body positivity people are very unhealthy. They try to drag you down, but at the same time, most of them are dead now. Literally, most of the body positivity influencers who become so diabetic have literally died because of heart issues. Literal heart issues. And another common reason you probably binge eat is probably because your insulin is very high. Now, there's a couple reasons why your insulin spikes. The first one, which would be after exercise, which that's not too bad of a thing unless you're going it the wrong way. The second way that insulin spikes is just you eating terrible food. When you eat terrible food, processed stuff and all this, you will spike your insulin. Hence, you'll want to eat more. Literally, once you eat that processed junk food or the processed sugary food, since your insulin spikes through the roof, you just want more food. Literally, the second, there's not really much you can do about it, but the second you start eating, you will spike your insulin. You will spike your insulin after eating. So, with that being said, a lot of people who have soft feelings are gone. I don't care about them. I'm here to help you out. So if you want to stop binge eating, there's a few things you have to do. Firstly, make sure to drink a lot of water. I'm not talking this little bitty jug. I'm talking the biggest water jugs you have. Literally fill it up, chug it all. Because you notice when you drink a lot of water, you don't feel as hungry because it staves off most of the hunger signals that come through your brain and your brain receptors and your nerve receptors and all this stuff in your brain. So the first thing, wake up, drink tons of water. 2 liters at least. Literally, 2 liters at least. Drink that. Now the second thing would be to have a high-fat diet. Now, contradictory to all of these people and all these researchers and doctors or whatever, oh, but that's gonna clog your arteries, you're gonna die because of the cholesterol, the fat, you should only have 2 eggs times per week. This is absolute terrible advice. This is why you feel so tired, so brain dead 24/7. Because you have a low-fat diet. You need a higher fat diet because it's actually good for you. Contradictory to all the research. If you exercise, bro, you're fine. Literally, don't worry about clogging your arteries. If you exercise, you can consume a high fat diet, bro. Don't worry. Just don't get it from terrible stuff like cake and all this stuff. Like if you're trying to prioritize your health, butter, ghee, coconut oil. Don't get it from any other sources. Well, eggs. Eggs are fine. Eggs, coconut oil, butter, and ghee. Don't get any other fat from any other sources because most likely it might be terrible for you. So there's a very high probability it's terrible for you because most of the high fat content is coming from cake and all this stuff, which is gonna mess you up tremendously. Now, another thing you need to make sure you keep in mind is when you're eating, you're making sure you're being mindful of each calorie, each ounce, each gram that enters your mouth. Literally, when you're eating and you're having food in your mouth, don't have your phone on you. Literally, don't have your phone on you. Don't have any sort of technology around you. When you eat, literally just put the food in your mouth, close your eyes for a second, keep chewing the food, have some deep breaths, thoughts about life, something, and then eat it down. You're being much more mindful of what you consume, being much more mindful of what enters your mouth. So make sure to keep that in mind. Make sure you create a sustainable diet, which will be healthy for you, which is high fat, medium carbs, and medium protein. Ideally, this is what you want the ratio to be. Maybe a bit higher in carbs if you're an athlete or someone who's very active, but fats and carbs, make sure to prioritize that. Because protein, you only need like 0.8 grams to maximize muscle growth. 0.8 grams per pound per body weight, whatever. 0.8. Bro, it's not 1 pound, 1 gram, but it sounds simple, which is why it's so much recommended, but really you only need 0.8 to maximize muscle growth. Anything over that, dude, it's basically pointless. So make sure you're consuming high fat. Carbs can be high too with belong your fat. Adjust your goals accordingly and have some protein in there. You don't need that much. Literally just do 0.8 times your body weight, and that's how many grams of protein you should eat in a day. That's it. You don't need any more than that. Make sure you don't go off track, because if you go off track, something might happen really quick, even when you least expect it. So I hope you fixed your shitty diet. Don't consume all this terrible food that's gonna mess you up in the long run. Short run too. Eat what's gonna help you. Remember to like and subscribe. Other than that, welcome to the Brotherhood.